Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I give my reading wrap-up for the week of 5/31/2026 through 6/6/2026. I completed one book this week, so I talk briefly about that book. I read parts of two books, so I'll talk briefly about those two books. I'll talk about my reading plans for the near future. I'll talk about the videos I released. I'll talk about the video games I've been playing. I'll talk about the music I've been listening to. And I'll talk about some other things going on in my life too. The book I completed was Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. And the book was translated from the Japanese by Ginny Tapley Takamori. I want to try to make sure I acknowledge translators. There was an author I saw about recently. I don't remember her name, but she made this huge effort to get her publishing company to include the name of the translator on the cover of her book. So I want to make sure I acknowledge translators. There's not really too much I can add about this book than when I talked about it previously. My review video for this book is going to come out before this wrap-up video. I'll just say it was a pretty difficult read. Natsuki starts out when she's 11. She doesn't really feel like she belongs. She thinks she's a magician. And she has a plush hedgehog she believes is from another planet that is like advising her. And she's treated very poorly by her parents and her older sister. They sometimes ignore her. They sometimes physically and verbally abuse her. When Natsuki grows up, she still doesn't feel like she belongs, but she's trying to. Book talks about what happens in Japanese culture when people don't want to conform to the standards. And I think it could probably be extended beyond Japan. Part of me wants to think it maybe wouldn't occur in the US, but realistically, the way things are these days, I'm sure similar pressures are put on some people. Overall, I did enjoy reading this book. It was a hard read. I rated it 4 stars. Just, this is one that really you might want to especially look at the content warnings. I talk more about that in my review video. I started and read some of Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. This book is set in 2024. It's told in the first person by Lauren. She is 15 at the start of the book. Set in the US. Society has decayed. We're kind of dropped in on it. But Lauren and her family live in a neighborhood in a town about 20 miles from California. There are walls around their neighborhood with like razor wire and glass on top of them. There's a lot less jobs. Even getting to your job can be dangerous because outside of your neighborhood, even in the town, you're at risk. But if you go outside of the town itself, there's really desperate people. There's wild dogs that'll kill you and eat you. It's just a difficult time of it. And I'm about 40% through the book. And I find that I have to read this book in a certain way. I might read a chapter and, take a break and come back a little later. I won't say I have to just totally grind my teeth and force my way through it, but it's just very bleak and it's getting worse. And we don't know what precipitated this decline in society. There is some results of climate change. There are storms and big storms and stuff like that. We don't know what caused it, but at the same time as society is decaying like this in the US, there was a mission to Mars. So a lot of money is being spent to, say, travel to Mars, but the people aren't being helped. And I'm an advocate of space travel, but I can see why in the situation like this, the people don't understand the way money's being spent. And then there's a new president that just got elected, of course, promising to change things, but some of the things he wants to do are eliminate the minimum wage, eliminate protections for workers, in the guise of getting more people to work. But to me, at least as far as like someone like Lauren goes, recognizes that as just a way to more exploit workers. I'm reading this book as part of the Horror Literari Book Club, a YouTube and Discord book club created and moderated by Jen at Horror Literari. I don't want to say that this isn't a worthwhile read. It's just because it's so unrelentingly grim and it's getting worse, things aren't getting better for the people. It's just kind of a difficult read. And at least in my opinion, this scenario that is shown in the book, again, I don't know what precipitated it, but this decline of society and what happened, I can actually view that as a possibility for the United States in the not distant future. So that's what kind of makes it a hard read too. The other book I started and read some was Playing Possum, How Animals Understand Death by Susana Monso. She is a philosopher who is looking at the scientific evidence and views on whether or not animals can understand death and what level they do. And she does note that, as science always will put forth, you have to be careful of not anthropomorphizing. You have to be careful of not anthropomorphizing things, which is the ascribing human characteristic to animals. But she points out something that I think science would not be so on board with, and that is that you have to be careful not to do what she calls anthropocentrism. I'm not sure I pronounced that right. But what that is that the behavior of an animal can only prove something if it's similar to behavior in humans, and then the scientists are more likely to accept that the behavior proves something. It's believing that it's not accepting that animals could have, say, different reasons, for instance, for understanding death to a certain level. So she points that too as an equal and opposite to anthropomorphism, which I think is good. And she also points out, which I believe too, even though I'm got a technical background, that science isn't always what it purports to. It's can be unwelcoming to new ideas. People will hold on to their own ideas with their, all their strength. So one thing about this book that makes it a difficult read is that she goes into graphic detail about animal deaths, especially when animals are killing other animals. So reading this book was I want to read as a little alternative to Parable of the Sower, but reading those two books at the same time can be a little difficult. I probably want to, in the not distant future, read a lighter book. Not to say that both books don't have a lot to offer. It's actually a little easier for me to read Playing Possum, but those are the two books I started and read part of in this week. As far as my reading plans in the near future, I soon plan to start Julie Chan is Dead by Liann Zhang. This is a book I'm reading as part of the Weird Girls Weirder Books, a Fable book club moderated by Lori. It is the June read. I already had the ebook of it, so it's a fortuitous pick. I Want to Soon Start of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. That is the June read for I'm With the Band, a Fable Book Club moderated by MJ. Reading This Life at M-J on YouTube. And this is a little further out, but in July I'm going to reread The Stand by Stephen King. This is a book that's a group read on the Witchwood Coven Discord. The Discord created and moderated by Steph at Found the Steph. As much as I love the book, it's not one I considered rereading before because it's around 1,200 pages, but considering other people are reading it, it seemed like a kind of an interesting reread. A little nervous because it's been decades and it is possible that it doesn't hold up for me, but I think it will. It is a commitment though because 1,200 pages is basically 4 books page lengths, so there's 3 other books that I'm not reading by choosing this one. Next I want to talk about the videos I released this week. I released 3 videos. The first is reading update for the week ending 5/30/2026. The second is my review of Threads of Ethercode by MJ Rusinski. And the third is Do Booktubers Have a Purpose? The Booktuber Roll Tag. That last one is doing especially well. My videos hadn't been doing that well view-wise, but the last one really did. As of now, it has 72 views, which for me is really a good number of views. I keep saying I want to get back for crocheting. I haven't done it. It's not because I stopped liking it, but I do want to get back to it. I'm just going to show, even though I haven't worked on this one is You, the capybara. So I will be working on this one. Matter of fact, I'm going to commit to working on it later today. I'm recording this on Sunday, 6/7/2026. So it's just because I've been playing video games so much that I haven't been working on You and other stuff too. I want to get back to continuing to work on the patterns in Everyday Crochet, the Complete Beginner's Guide by June Gilbank. As far as video games, I continue to play Tamagotchi Life, Living the Dream. I did have one member wanted to propose to another member, but there's this mini game they have you play to help them do so, and I have so far never succeeded in the mini game. Now, after 2 or 3 tries, they let the proposal work, but that didn't because I was unable to do the mini game. Some of the mini games in this game I'm good at, some of them I'm not. There's mini games for other stuff too. Players ask you to play mini games. I played some more Wildflowers. In that game, there is soon going to be a fall festival that my character is working toward. There is a couple of unsolved mysteries there, things that happened. I started to play a game called Lodal Knot. This game was recommended by Rose at Rose-Dreamer on the Witchwood Coven Discord, the Discord of Steph at Found the Steph. She has recommended several games, and I've liked every one she recommended. So I got this game. I just got it yesterday being Saturday, the 6/6/2026. And a little bit difficult at first, figuring out what I'm supposed to do. It does require you to have a good sense of direction because you're underwater and you have to, at least at this point, what you're doing is you're cleaning up stuff and you have to go back periodically to get your oxygen refreshed in certain areas of the game. So that took a little bit for me getting used to it. But you don't die if you fail to get oxygen. You just go back close to your starting points. As far as music I listen to Sarah Landry, Chapel Roan, and I listen to a playlist I have on Spotify called the Reader's Favorite Song Playlist, which is a playlist I created when I did a tag about important songs in my life. So I played some of that. It goes way back, starting with a song by Chicago, up to including people like Taylor Swift and Blackpink. I think Blackpink and Ashnik. I think Blackpink might have been the most recent song on that playlist, but I listened to that playlist too. As far as what else I did this week, I did my normal stuff, walked at the mall a couple times, went out to eat a few times. We have a local company called Aiello. They do plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. And every year we have them come in and do some checks, make sure everything's running okay. And Monday of last week, the electrical and plumbing guys came. As far as the plumbing guy, all I had him do was the toilet seat was a little loose. I was unable to reach around to get it. And he needed a special tool to get it anyway, so he fixed that. And the electrical guy did find some stuff. Had some smoke detectors, and one of them was kind of out of date, so thought it might be a good idea to get them all upgraded. The ones that they're upgraded to, they don't need batteries replaced. They're good for 10 years. And also there was the breaker box is like 25, 30 years old, and there's some stuff outside they recommended being done. None of these were like necessary problems right now, but generally I think it's a good idea to get those things done. So he had to get a permit to do that stuff, so he and an apprentice are going to come tomorrow to do it. It's going to take most of the day. Power's going to be off during that time. I think it's not supposed to be super warm, so it should be okay. And then the HVAC guys came, I think it was Thursday, and checked we have ductless AC we got installed last year, and the inside air conditioners were working well, and the outside one, and I'm not sure if I'm using the right terms for this when we're talking about ductless AC, but there's like a main outside one which feeds the two inside ones. That one needed to be cleaned because there was a lot of pollen on it, so that got done. So should be okay for the summer. Now I just wanted to fill people in on I had previously talked about a mental health issue, so I'm going to on my last video, so I'll tell where we are on that one, and I will, as I usually do, put a disclaimer at the bottom left of the screen saying mental health update. So if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. Of course, you never have to watch it, but everything else I'm going to talk about besides my outro is already done, is already in this video. So just one update. I talked like last week about my sister going to the emergency room, getting admitted, being transferred, get admitted to a close hospital. This past Thursday, Thursday afternoon, she was transferred to a health rehab facility so they can help heal her wounds, and I'm not sure if they're going to do some mobility rehab or whatever, but she got moved there. Could be there 2 weeks, possibly more. We'll have to see. So it was a relief because that's what she wanted. She feels she needs that level of care. You never can tell as far as insurance. She's on Medicare, but you never can tell. Insurance in the U.S. has the power. But she did go there Thursday, so I'm trying to mentally kind of relax, and like she's under care and not really think about what follows, because even when she gets out out of this facility. I'm sure she's going to have more work to do, but just trying to accept, well, she's being taken care of by, good care. And they did call me too, so I did I did get a call from the facility from a representative who's with a social worker. They did talk to me a little bit, so sounds like a good place. I would be interested in knowing how your reading week went. What books you read that you really like, might recommend. Also, any music you listen to, video games you're playing. If you'd like to let me know, please add a comment. If you can't think of anything you'd like to comment, please add an emoji of your choice. I hope you have a wonderful reading week. I hope you have a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.